Hi friends, today I am going to discuss about Spring Boot with Feign-Client. What is Feign-Client? Feign-Client is a web service client. It is like REST template where you are going to use Feign-Client to call the service from one service to another service. Suppose there is a service 1, app 1. Okay, you want to call app 2 to get the some response from app 2. Okay, so you are going to use a Feign-Client. What are the advantages of Feign-Client? So we can use REST template. It is lighter weight compared to Feign-Client, but Feign-Client provides more uh, benefits, advantages over REST template. Okay, so it provides annotation based configuration. So like in this one you can just use how you are configuring a method in the controller. Like suppose I can show you here. So get mapping, here you can provide URL, the context path and method. So this is how you can use. If it is a post mapping, you can use like @post mapping, how you are making a method in the controllers, something like that you can use in the Feign-Client. Okay, so integration with Eureka. So you can integrate Feign-Client with Eureka, so that based on the service ID you can call the external service. There is no need to use a URL, direct URL. Okay, host and port. Okay, load balancing, it provides the load balancing. Suppose uh, there are multiple service instances registered with Eureka, so a Feign-Client provides a load balancing. So there are many other users uh, apart from this one. So now let's try to implement Feign-Client. Okay, so for this one we need a Eureka server. So I have already explained how to create a Eureka server in the previous videos. Please go through the video. Okay, and I have created a simple RESTful service. It is called user management service. So it is having one user controller. It is simple service where user controller having one method called get user. It is returning string called hello user. That's it. So this you can create simple microservice. So Feign-Client I have to create. For Feign-Client I have to go to start create a new project. So I am creating Spring Boot Feign-Client. So I am giving the name Spring Boot Feign-Client. Okay, so next I am keeping all these things. I am choosing Feign. You can see here a dependency called Open Feign and web, Spring Web, then dev tools. So these are the three dependencies I am going to add. Okay, let's click finish. So now the project is created. So let's configure the configuration. So I will add a properties. There are only three properties, simple properties, that is server port where it is running. Okay, okay, I missed one more dependency, that is discovery client, Eureka client. Okay, So I will add that one from this. So it is not copied correctly. Let me copy this one. So why I am adding this dependency is like I have to register this service Feign-Client service with Eureka. So I am adding a Eureka client. Okay. So now I have added. Let's add the properties. So I have added 3 properties. One is server port, so 8856 where it is running, and application name I am giving Feign-Client, and to register with Eureka server I am giving this property, that is Eureka client service URL default zone. So it is running in localhost 8761. Okay, so this is the URL I have to provide. Okay, so user management service properties, if you see here also it is running in 8091 port, and application name I am giving user service, and it is also registered with Eureka server. Okay, so let's create a 3 things. One is Feign-Client class. So let's create, let me add it as a Eureka user Feign-Client. So it's actually interface, I have to create an interface. So let me delete it. So I have to annotate it with Feign-Client. So I have to pass the name of the service where you are calling the service, right? So I am calling here, I am calling user service. This is the name. We have to use same thing whatever you have given in the, suppose here I am calling user management service, right? So the application name, it is user service. So this name which is registered with Eureka, right? Same thing you have to use in the Feign-Client. So based on the service ID, this is the service ID, it calls the that user service. Okay, so it has to call get method. So this is the method I have to call, right? Get user. It is written in string. So it is an abstract method. Okay, the path I have to give complete path. So the complete path is users slash hello. Okay, so now user client is ready. Okay, so it will call get user method in the user service to get the response. Now let's create a service class. So we can call from service class, or we can directly call from controller. So let's create a controller only. Let me create first a service class. I am giving name as Feign-Client service. Okay, I am annotating with it with @service. So let's add a method called get user. So I have to call the user Feign-Client. Okay, let me auto wire. Sorry. So let me call this Feign-Client. So it will call get user method. Okay, now Feign-Client service is ready. Let me create a controller. So annotate it with REST controller and request mapping. So pass Feign. I am giving context path as a Feign. Then create a method get user. So annotate it with get mapping. I am passing slash user as a path. Okay, so let's auto wire service. So let's call this Feign-Client get users. Okay, so now we are ready with controller, service and Feign-Client. Okay, all three classes are ready. So we have to add annotation. This is the main annotation. So enable Feign-Clients. So then only the Feign-Client will be enabled. Okay, we have to add in the main class. Okay, so let's run this. Let's run from Eureka server first. So let's go to main class. So here you have enabled Eureka server annotation added. Okay, so let's run this one. So you can see it is running in 8761. Let's check. So you can see your Spring Boot Eureka dashboard is displayed. So here in the application dashboard you don't see any no instances available, right? So let's try to first run this user management service. Okay, so I have built this service already, so let's just run this service. So you can see this service is registered in the Eureka. Let's check, refresh this one. So you can see here Eureka user service is registered, so it is running in 8091 port. Okay, so let's build this Feign-Client. Okay, it is also registered. Let's check the Eureka server. Okay, we have done build only, so let's run this one first. Build is success. Yeah, okay, so it started the service, so it is also registered. So let's check the Eureka dashboard. So it's not coming here. Check what is the no, some issue. Okay, it is showing oh sorry, user management service already in use. So let's close all these. So dashboard is not running, so let's run Eureka server from the beginning. There might be issue like the service is already running. Let's do it from the fresh. Okay, so Eureka service started. Okay, so let's change the port of user management service to some other port, since that 8091 is already running. So let's build this. So build is successful. Let's now run this application. Now you can see it is. Let's check. So Eureka user management service started already. Okay, so let's check. So user service running in 8092 port. We have changed the port to 92, right? So it's completely fine now. Now we'll try to register Feign-Client. Okay, so let's see. So Feign-Client it started. Okay, let's check dashboard. So you can see here Feign-Client also registered with Eureka server. So it is running in 8856. Okay, so now let's test this Feign-Client. So let's use this path Feign/user, right? So it is running in 8856. Okay, so localhost 8856 Feign/user is the path. Let's hit this service. So we are getting error like no static resource Feign/user. So this is wrong. We have given wrong path. Feign, Feign. Okay, now let's run this. You can see here. So hello user it is the response we got. So since we have in the user management service we are returning hello user, right? So it is returning hello user. So it is calling the service based on the service id. Since service id is registered with Eureka, right? There is no url host port we have used in the Feign-Client. So here we are using the service name as a service id to call. We are not using host port, right? So this is how we are using registering the Feign-Client with Eureka and calling the another service. So let's okay, so we are getting hello user as a response. Okay, so let's suppose you have not registered service with Eureka. There is no Eureka, so you have to call another user management service directly. Just you can use url. That is the another approach where there is no Eureka and services are not registered in Eureka. Okay, so now what we will do, so let's stop the Eureka first. Okay, so let's stop all the services. So now Eureka is not there. So let's remove the properties. Okay, so let's comment it out. Just here comment it out. Since so we assume like services are not registered in a Eureka and they are running independently, and I want to use a Feign-Client to call from one service to another service. Okay, so how we can call? So let's go to user client class. Here instead of here user service name, it uses a URL. We have to configure URL. So http localhost 8092. Since this user service is running in a localhost 8092, the same thing URL I am passing. So whatever after that host, right, the path, it is here, right? So how we will test normally? So you will use this URL localhost port slash user slash hello to test the service, right? So that is how we can use. So if you here I am using directly the URL, so it will call the user service using this URL only. Okay, so now services are not registered with Eureka. So let's run this application. Let's build this one first. So build is successful. Let's run this one. Okay, Spring Boot started already. Okay, since we are getting this error, since we have added a discovery client in the dependency, right? So it tries to connect to that one. So let's what we can do is we will stop this one. Let's clear all those. Okay, so it's better to remove everything. Even though it is starting, service is starting, since we have added all this dependency and we have added, okay, so we have added this annotation also, right? Okay, here discovery client is not added, so we have removed completely dependency everything, right? So let's build this application. So it was trying to register with Eureka, it was giving some exception, but it is starting the service. So now there is no error, build is successful. Let's run this application. So application is started. Okay, so let's do it for same thing for here also. Okay, so here we have not added any annotation, so let's remove this dependency here also. Okay, so let's build this application. So build is successful. Let's start the service. So service is started perfectly, there is no error, right? So let's try to test the Feign-Client. So it is the URL, same thing, there is no change. So you can see here the response is coming. Now it is directly calling the user service using a URL, not the service ID, since there is no Eureka, right? So these services are not registered with Eureka. So this is how we can use Feign-Client to call another service. Okay, so thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel, follow for more videos. Thank you.